synapses in the internet underground. Everyone knows who I am. The world is my chessboard and war is the tool of the game. Don't hate me, I'm just a messenger. Say what you want about me, but I speak the truth. The truth, the truth. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
What's going on, folks? And thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost, and I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. This is episode number 762. Episode number 762 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And before we get into anything else, I'd like to ask everybody to please spread this show across the internets and throughout the world. And let them know that the Ghost Show, the True Capitalist Radio Show, my bad, is in effect and in the house. And once again, the True Capitalist Radio broadcast is broadcasted every Monday at about 5 to 5:30-ish, all right, every single Monday, all right? So if you want to catch the live show, I mean, that's what we do. That's what we do out here. So anyway, I want to say cheers to everybody out there. Once again, Wraith, hooking it up with a Rumble rant. Cheers to you, man. I appreciate it, and I hope you're having yourself a good Monday. But let's go ahead and get started. We got a lot of things to talk about on this episode 62. The date is March 16th, and by God, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But as we do with every True Capitalist Radio show, let's go ahead and start off with the market, shall we? Put the PC shot on. I don't know why anybody's buying into this market. There is nothing but turbulent times ahead. I don't know what optimism. I don't know what it is. I think it's probably the resonance of the Wall Street bet crowds or some shit. We've got to get rid of this tarred market. This market has got to collapse already. All right? People are treating the stock market like a casino, and they're just following wherever the money goes in hopes they get a part of it or a piece of the rake. Nobody's actually investing for the fundamental reasons of investing, which is for profit, or companies that make profits, or companies that are projected to make profits. It is an absolute tarred market. Why anyone is investing is beyond me. But let's go ahead and get to it, all right? Dow Jones Industrial was up today 0.83%, closing out the Dow Jones Industrial at 49,946.41 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. We've got the S&P 500. It is also up today 1.01%, closing out the S&P at 6,699.38 points for the S&P 500. And we've got the NASDAQ. It is also up 1.22% on the day. NASDAQ closing out at 22,374.18 points. Now, I'm assuming that the reason that we're seeing buyers in the market is for whatever reason we saw a decrease in the oil price. But as you can see, later in the day, it caught up. And let's go ahead and talk about the commodities. All right, shall we? As we can see, crude oil did go down today. It was down 3.18% for WTI sweet crude. Take a look at that monthly increase right now for WTI sweet crude. That is a 51.34% increase on crude oil when it comes to WTI sweet crude. And once again, WTI is what America consumes. Brent crude is the crude oil that the world consumes, the rest of the world. And it is also down today, but it's down 1.33%. Take a look at the monthly increase on Brent crude. All right, that is 50.13% increase on Brent crude. And as you can see, energy down the board is up on the month. Gasoline up 58.19% on the month. We got heating oil. It is up 61.36% on the month. Coal is up 18.11% on the month. We've got, let me take a look at the European gas, for Christ's sake. All right. I mean, the European gas, like a 69.99% increase on the month. UK gas, 81.55%. Now, you know, German gas up 66.68%. The reason this is you all know the war. All right? The war. Sky-high gas prices are already hitting the economy. This is the worst-case scenario that could happen right now. Because as I stated in 2024, which none of you listened, I said that if Trump was elected and implemented his economic policies of protectionism and tariffs and the immigration policy, that we were going to see inflation because of the rising prices of those economic policies, okay? And we are also dealing with the natural state of inflation. So you combine those factors, on top of which we are now going to add skyrocket gas prices on top of that. So I'm telling you right now, this is not looking good for the American economy. Why anyone is purchasing anything in the stock market right now, I have no idea. Because I am giving you all factors on why rising prices are going to continue to rise higher. Now, why anyone would invest in this market? I mean, we're seeing layoffs, we're seeing closings. I mean, you know, the whole goddamn supply chain worldwide has been disrupted. It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. But that's what's causing the major hiccup. All right, now let's get to the metals, shall we? The metals. Let's get to the goddamn metals. Gold contracted a tad bit. It was down 0.41% on the day. Right now, gold's price is at $5,001.02 for gold. Now, silver, it has pulled back some. Now, I am still bullish on metals. We may even see a slight more pullback, but I am still bullish because of the factors that I just mentioned. Now, lest we forget, we still have the Federal Reserve factor, which the Fed is supposed to give its input on whether or not they're going to raise interest rates or not, and all points to me that they're probably not going to do it. All right? They're probably not going to do it. Put the PC shot on. Iran is making it harder for the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates. Because, I mean, it's bad enough back when earlier in last year, when Trump was demanding that the Fed chairman cut rates, he's cutting into inflation. On top of him cutting into inflation, he's cutting into these tariffs, which are rising prices. He's cutting into the Iran war, which is rising prices because of the disrupted supply chain and also the high energy prices. So, I mean, this is not good. I don't think, in my opinion, I do not think that we are going to see the Federal Reserve cut rates. They would be just putting fuel on an inflation fire right now. It is absolutely the bad idea. Even though Trump wants to give all this free money, well, cheap money, in order to try to, fledge the economy upward, it's not going to work. There's just too many factors, and part of it is the economic policy of this administration, which I told you was going to happen. All right, I told you this was going to happen. Now, let's take a look at commodities in the agriculture, all right? Now, we're starting to see some decreases again in the short term in agriculture because of this disrupted supply chain, all right? Many of our agricultural producers don't necessarily produce exclusively for the American population. They actually produce for the world market. And now that the world market is all of a sudden being disrupted, a lot of these folks have a lot of crop on their hands. And as I predicted in 24, it is now laying to rot. That's why you're seeing this decrease. All right, that's why you're seeing this decrease. But I think in the long term, you're going to see an increase. Now, why is this? Because, folks, you've heard about the Strait of Hormuz by now. We're going to talk about it later on. But this strait, okay, supplies the world with 40% of the fertilizer that is consumed globally. 40% of the fertilizer. Now, that means that there's not going to be enough fertilizer to go around in the world, and that fertilizer is going to go up the ass in price. So my suggestion, if you have some, I don't know, spare cash around, you might want to entertain an entry point into fertilizer companies that are publicly traded. I'm just saying. So, in my opinion, on top of the factors I mentioned, which is causing prices of food to go up, this factor right here, the Strait of Hormuz, all right, and the inability to get the supply chain rolling could genuinely cause a global famine the longer this goes. So, once again, I'm telling you all right now, if you want to take advantage of a bad situation, invest in fertilizer. All right? Now, let me get to some of these donos before we move on to the markets here. We've got Lord Jimmy Burrito. Gas prices are getting so high in Germany, the juice... I'm not saying that. All right? I'm not saying that right now. And who else we got? We got Capitalist Squirrel. Now Magas are moving the goalposts, saying they would rather pay $10 per gallon for freedom. More like it's Maga cope. Well, they're pot committed, like I've told you with these folks that committed themselves to Trump in 24. They are so pot committed that there's no going back. You know, they told their families, they bought the Trump Bible, they bought the Trump watch, they bought the Trump cards. They can't go back. You know, Americans are too prideful to understand that they made a bad choice. You know, so that's where we're at this point in America. Anyway, Belligerent Brian asked you last time, but you didn't answer. How do you feel about investing in cocoa ETFs or cacao ETFs right now? They're at all-time lows. Remember, in ETFs, you want to make sure that when you invest in an ETF, that the movement in the ETF that you're expecting is going to be within at least 3 months. Because ETFs do charge a fee for you holding them. So if you're not necessarily going to have a move quickly, then you're probably going to pay more for the fee of holding the ETF than actually gaining from the ETF. And Devious Dave, is there any good news, Ghost? Not really. All right, not really. Sorry, buddy, not really. But anyway, as we can see, you take a look at the monthly increases. Palm oil, believe it or not, you'd be surprised how much shit has palm oil in it. It is up 14.27%. Wheat is up 11.6%. Cheese is up 6.54%. Milk is up 7.3%. We've got cotton up 7.52%. And these are monthly increases, by the way. These are monthly increases. Rice is up 5.8%. Oats is up 15.37%. Wool is up 5.32%. Sugar is up 5.20%. So as we can see, even butter is up 8.43%. Corn is up 6.51%. So we're seeing increases all over the place, all right? And by the way, here's some of the, like phosphorus. Take a look at phosphorus right now. This is what's going to be prohibited. 40% of the world's phosphorus comes from the Strait of Hormuz. And this urea, too, comes from the Strait of Hormuz, 40% of it. So I think everybody needs to, entertain entry points, in my personal opinion, in some capacity. Because the longer this goes, the less traffic is going to come out of the Strait of Hormuz, and that's it. I mean, oil, fertilizer, food, everything. We could be, or I should say this war could be indirectly starving not only the Middle East, because, the Strait is where most of the Middle East gets their food imported, but the fertilizer situation could cause a global fucking famine. Global famine. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to livestock, shall we? Because if y'all are anticipating beef or cattle going down in price, it ain't never going to happen. We are at 75-year lows in the cattle population. 75-year lows in herds. Okay? And on top of that, all right, on top of all the fact that, the herds are down.
I'd buy that for $1.
And what the hell is this? Someone, hi, Ghost. Okay, great. I'm not saying that fucking dono. If you're going to be stupid and dumb on, like, Ghost Show style, I ain't reading it. All right? I ain't reading it. Anyway, as I was stating, okay, the meatpacking industry is about to go on strike. I thought I actually bookmarked that, but I guess I didn't. The beef, a meat packer, 3,500 employees. And remember, the meatpacking industry is what runs the industry. The farmer gets butkus. The producer of the cattle gets butkus. It all goes to the 3 or 4 meatpacking companies that control the whole fucking meat market. They're going to have a strike on one of them. And it starts here in about the next couple of days. All right? So this is also going to cause the price of beef probably to go up another 10 or 15%, in my personal opinion. And Wraith hooked it up with a Rumble rant, said, make America's gas affordable again, Maga. Yeah, no shit. But, yeah, this is going to affect cattle prices, so keep an eye out on that. Cattle feeder, this should also go up, considering we could potentially have a fertilizer shortage situation. But as you can see, cattle feeder prices almost all-time highs. Okay, so you got to factor that into beef. You take a look at the live cattle. All right, take a look at a 10-year on that. Almost we're coming down from all-time highs, but I think we're going to spike right back up. Okay, look at these charts. All right, take a look at beef in general. All right, 10-year chart on beef. All right. I mean, it's all going up. Remember, Trump in 24 claimed that he was going to somehow magically make all these prices go down. And I told you, he's not going to do that. When he gets into office, because of his economic policy, I mean, things are going to go up 100% minimum. And I was exactly right. I mean, this was not hard to call. All right. But of course, the American people are a bunch of fucking idiots, and they barely can fucking read. So that's where we're at. That's why we're here. Okay. Now, lean hogs, take a look at lean hogs. They're at a little bit of a down point, but still, still fluctuating. Look at the 10-year chart on lean hog. But now we're back to the egg situation. Have y'all tried to go ahead and buy eggs at the supermarket? Take a look at this. We're back. We're back to fucking high prices on eggs. What the fuck is this about again? What the fuck is this about? We're going back upward. All right, take a look at the increase in the month. All right, 89.67% increase on the month for eggs. So as I stated, I called all these increases on commodities in 24 when you people were calling me a Democrat and calling me an idiot. And I tried to tell many of you, all right, and keep most of your portfolio in cash, metals, and possibly real estate in markets that are being sought after by those that are looking for housing. Don't go in to these high-priced markets that have been overbought, like Austin, Texas, like Miami, New York, a lot of the California markets, that sort of thing. And I'm telling you, if you have a pretty good cash hoard right now, you're going to be living rich as everybody starts collapsing. People are dipping into their 401ks right now at record setting. And guess what? If you have a cash hoard and people are trying to survive, and we're at all-time high on consumer debt, by the way. I mean, we've never been this high in consumer debt. So what I'm anticipating, much like what the fucking folks did in 2009, is that they're going to try to sell everything that they have in order to maintain, whether it's their mortgage, whether it's, ability to feed themselves, whatever. And they're going to sell things on these little marketplaces that you're going to see out, or garage sales or whatever. They're going to be selling because they need the money. And those who have cash on hand are going to be the ones buying this stuff from these people for pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar. And they don't give a shit. They're in debt anyway. All right, so they're like, I don't care, I'm in debt. Let me just go ahead and get the money now. This is what's going to happen. And I'm telling you right now, if you have a pretty good cash hoard, you're probably going to be living very fat, all right, in the Trump economy. Because we're going through a liquidity shortage as it is. The liquidity shortage means that people are getting laid off, They don't have money. All right, they're going high into debt. They're going into their 401ks at record numbers. This means that there is a liquidity shortage. That means there's not enough money circulating in the economy in order for it to be as productive as it was in the past. So what that means is there's going to be a contraction. The only reason there hasn't been is because COVID turned the fucking stock market into a fucking casino. Because people were told to stay home, sit on their thumbs. They had nothing else better to do, so they started entertaining shit they saw on the internet. And a lot of it was suggested by fucking, these stupid, ridiculous forum posts like Wall Street Bets. All right? And all Wall Street Bets did was get a whole bunch of idiots to buy a dying company stock in order for it to artificially go up so that the first 2 or 3 waves of people that got in at the ground level over there at Wall Street Bets made fucking millions of dollars. Okay? And that's the way it is. Anyway, let's continue. Now, I know that people are saying, well, Ghost, housing's expensive. All right?
Buy that for $1.
Housing is expensive. And I will give you this. I give Gen Z and millennials a lot of shit. I give them a lot of shit, but I'll tell you, I have to admit, the fucking housing market is up the ass. All right, take a look at this. Gen Z hit hardest as housing costs squeeze the U.S. households. A survey finds that 67% of Gen Z adults struggle to cover housing costs as high prices and mortgage rates outpace incomes. Now, I hate to say this to you, all right? What caused this was COVID-19. COVID-19. Now, why? If y'all were listening to me at the time, I was saying that what the Federal Reserve was doing these bond buys, which was just nothing more than a fancy word of the Federal Reserve printing money and injecting it into the financial system, hundreds of billions a month at a time. Okay? And basically, if you had a pulse, you could probably get a house in 2019. If you did not get a house, all right, between 2019 and 2020, you're probably not going to fucking get one at the price that you saw during those times. I sincerely don't think so. And hold on, before I get to anything else, here's Kirk Johnson. How about that AD chess, right? Maga, M-I-G-A. Having a great time out of town, by the way. Cheers. And a new, I'm not going to say that. Anyway, thank you. All right. I appreciate that, Kirk Johnson. And then we got Kicks Does a Flip, who said, I blame BlackRock for the reason why Zoomers can't buy houses. Part of it's that, Kits. All right. Part of it's that. But let's be honest. There's not enough inventory to suffice the demand. I know that sounds ridiculous. But at the same time, most people don't want to go into local or smaller or mid-markets in order to find cheap housing. I mean, you could find cheap housing. Old man Frank, I don't know if y'all know him. He's a character on the other show. He's entertaining buying a place in Lubbock, Texas. And the reason is because it's a fairly decent town, very small, but the real estate is dirt cheap out there. I mean, you could get a fucking badass house for like $300K. McAllen, Texas, which is at the border of the southern part of Texas, almost at the border of Mexico, you could get a legitimate mansion out there. A legitimate mansion for like $350,000. But you see, nobody wants to live in those markets. So what does that mean? That means people want to live in the better cities. They want to live in the mid-sized, bigger markets. And there is a shortage of homes to buy, to purchase. Unfortunately, they build nothing but a bunch of rentals and shit. But, I mean, that's literally the case. All right? Now, what does Trump have to say about high prices in real estate? Well, take a look at this. Trump says this, all right? For all you Gen Zers that are like, man, Ghost finally gets it. I've gotten it. I mean, here in the past 2 years specifically, the price of real estate has gone through the roof. I own property. All right? I own property, and literally my property that I own has gone up 150% since I bought it. I'm not joking. 150% since I bought it. I mean, why don't I sell it? Well, I don't know where to go. All right? I don't know where the fuck to go. But what does Trump have to say about the really, really high real estate prices? All right? This is what was allegedly caught by journalists. Trump allegedly told GOP leader and I'm talking about the Speaker of the House, Mike, whatever his fucking name is, no one gives a shit about housing. All right? No one gives a shit about housing. All right? Let them eat fucking cake. Let them live in a box. All right? Give me a break. No one gives a shit about housing. So that's the attitude right now that you got from the administration of all you folks, especially you young people. You Gen Zers were one of the biggest pools of people that went out there and voted for this guy. That's what he thinks about you, man. That's what he thinks about you. And look, I told you the Trump administration was not going to be good. That's why I didn't even want this guy to be in the primary in 24. I told you all this shit was going to happen. And guess what? It's so doomer. All right? It is so somber out there in America. Take a look at this. Doomsday believers no longer fringe. Studies suggest that they are a third of America. A third of America believes that we're in end times. All right? It's the rapture. It is doomsday. This is where we're at. All right? And it's only been a little over a year since this Trump administration has been in power. All right? I mean, yeah, doomers are the new normies now, thanks to this administration. And, you know, I tried to tell you all in 24, of course, nobody listens to Ghost. I give you thorough reasoning why I say what I say. I give you facts, I give you sources, I give you everything, and yet not good enough for you idiots. You idiots thought you knew better. All right, so I'm just saying, doomsday believers are now no longer fringe, all right? It's a third of America. It's a third of America, and, I mean, if you take a look at the times we're living in, for fuck's sake, I mean, I don't blame them. Can you blame them? I don't blame them. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about domestic politics and news here. Now, the latest thing to come out of the administration, and look, I don't know if I believe this, but White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, you know, the old grandma that's always around, you know, Trump's ass cheek, diagnosed with early stage breast cancer. Now, if she does have breast cancer, that's horrible. But lest we forget, you all even know who Susie Wiles is? No, you don't. She came out of fucking nowhere, right? She has been one of the biggest, dare I say, constructors, I should say, of medical bureaucracy. All right? She's made a ton of money, all right, doing things for the medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, she's a legend in those industries. Okay? That's why she became chief of staff, and that's why you got Trump praising all this mRNA shit, even though he campaigned against it. That's why he's praising Pfizer. That's why he's praising all these fucking people that he claimed to be against in 24 because of this woman right here. Now, with that being said, I find it hard to believe that this woman all of a sudden miraculously gets breast cancer and yet doesn't want to step down from her post. Doesn't want to step down from her post. I don't believe it. I mean, if you're this big in the fucking medical industry, I mean, to the point where you're a medical industry legend in both the physician world and in the pharmaceutical world, and you mean to tell me that you're going to get diagnosed with, quote, breast cancer? This is sympathy. I mean, what I think she's doing is she's doing a Joe Biden. Now, lest we forget, Joe Biden, right after he left office, suggested that he had terminal prostate cancer, or whatever the fuck he said he had. This guy's everywhere. All right? I mean, he's in more places than he was when he was actually president. And yet we all memory hold that shit. All right? We all memory hold the fact that Joe Biden claimed that he had cancer and shit because he won sympathy with that. I've got cancer. It's terminal. He won sympathy. And yet I think Trump, or at least somebody advising him, interpreted how Joe Biden was able to gain sympathy by suggesting that he had cancer and bypass all the accusations that Trump hurled at him through the campaign. I think this is a page out of that book. All right, I think this is a page out of the book. This is a legendary fucking medical industry, pharmaceutical company person in the industry. Look her up. Look who she does. Look at what she's done. I don't want to get into it in this show because I got a lot of shit to talk about. But I think this is a ploy to gain sympathy. And once again, the chaos theory that I always say Trump obliges by is just throw so much shit at people to the point where it overwhelms them sensory overload, and they begin to memory hole shit within a matter of a day or two. All right? Now, another thing, let's go ahead and move on. What the Republicans are trying to do in the Congress, okay, while we're at war, while there's plenty of things that the Republicans could get to aid the American people in these very turbulent times, instead, they want to focus on the Save America Act, okay? Which, look, I mean, in essence, I agree that you need to show ID at the voting booth, at the poll. We do that already. Now, do I agree that there is a small percentage of folks that abuse the voting system and potentially vote in multiple states? Yes, but it's such a low percentage that it doesn't require a federal act. Now, what I do agree with on this is that there should be no mail-in balloting. There should be absolutely no mail-in balloting whatsoever. It's the only thing I agree with the SAVE Act. All right? The only thing I agree with. Because mail-in balloting was the biggest mistake. And look, I believe that the Democrats did aid in fixing the election for Joe Biden to win in 2020. I absolutely agree with that. That's the only thing that I agree with on this bill. Because, look, I mean, there are federal investigating bodies that go and look into voter fraud already. I mean, this is just a federalization of the voting system, which I think is very, very dangerous. I think it's dangerous. Now, they did slip in a couple of things to force Republicans, especially conservatives, to vote for this, and that is ban men from women's sports like transgenders, which I don't know how anyone cannot agree with that. Okay, that's something I also agree with. How can you not agree with transgendered or men in sports? And also, what slipped in is that there's no gender reassignment surgeries for children. For children. Now, I don't know if y'all remember, but Trump posted on his Truth Social about what it is that was in this bill. And on the bottom one, it said, no transgendered surgeries for children without their parental consent. And everybody in the Maga side went nuts. He had to fucking erase that last part. But look, in essence, I don't think this is a horrible bill. I just don't like the federalization of the voting system. All right?
I'd buy that for
I am not down with the federalization of the voting system. And Ghost is a diabetic bitch. Hey, hello, happy Baller Friday. Why hasn't Trump dropped gas prices? And what does no, I'm not going to say that. Come on. Ghost is a diabetic bitch. This isn't the Ghost Show, dude. Anyway, cheers to you. It's actually Carpet Munching Monday. It's not Friday. But anyway, once again, in essence, I'm not against this bill. I'm just concerned about the federalization of anything. All right, and I think that's what the concern is on many of the Senate Republicans that are kind of apprehensive about this bill, too. Because, I mean, I think the Senate is going to be affected the worst by this Save America Act than anybody else. And that's why you're seeing a lot of apprehension from the Senate on this. So we'll see what happens with the SAVE Act. Continuing on, did y'all hear what's happening to Tucker Carlson? Now, Tucker Carlson came out and said that the CIA is forwarding information to the Department of Justice that will charge him and have him arrested for violating the foreign agent law. Now, look, I don't like Tucker Carlson, all right? I think he's a fucking lifelong grifter. I think he's a pompous, piece of trash. I think he's a flip-flopper. But if there's some serious charges like this levied, especially towards somebody that is a commentating journalist, so to speak, then there has to be definitive proof. Now, what they're charging him with is talking to the Iranians prior to the actual, I think days before the actual attack, the strikes that the United States put on Iran. And he came out and he tried to very calmly suggest that this is probably not going to go anywhere. But I disagree. I told you all that once Trump was in office, he was going to utilize the state in order to put his boot on our necks. That's what ICE is about. That's why I didn't like ICE. All right? I didn't like ICE because it wasn't meant for fucking immigrants. It was meant for you and me. And if you people don't believe me, what did I tell you in 24? I said Trump is going to be forced. All right? He's going to be forced to go back on a lot of shit, particularly immigration. Okay? And I don't mean to be schizophrenic on the coverage here, but I just want to rub it in you people's faces. All right? When you're all, yeah, we got to deport the illegal immigrants. Yeah. We got to deport these pieces of shit. Yeah. Well, you know what? Did you hear this today? Take a look at this. Trump team wants to make it easier for migrants to work on U.S. farms. I told you in 2024 this shit was going to happen. He was going to be forced to go back on many of his policies, and this is one of them. This is one of them, and I told you all he was going to do it. How does it feel? How does it feel, you morons, to know that I predicted every one of these fucking things that are happening now back in 24 while you idiots were fanning your nuts for MAGA and shit? Huh? I told you all, you stupid sons of bitches. And now, what is ICE for anyway? Okay, if we're not targeting migrants, if we're not targeting immigrants, what is ICE doing besides killing American fucking people? I mean, seriously, that's all it's done. And not to mention, ICE is picking up immigrants that worked with us in America. Did you hear about this poor guy? He was an Afghani interpreter for us in Afghanistan, okay? They nabbed him while he was over here. We gave him safe pay. We're the ones that granted him some kind of asylum. They pick him up and they throw him in one of these fucking, alligator Alcatraz places. Fucking guy's dead. The fucking guy's dead. So nobody's going to want to help us. Nobody's going to want to do anything with the United States. Nobody's ever going to trust us to do a goddamn thing. Nobody's going to trust us to do a goddamn thing. So once again, ICE was not meant for fucking immigrants. It's meant for you and me. You and me. Now, why did Trump have to go back on this? Because just like I predicted, the American people are a bunch of lazy, entitled, fucking pieces of shit. And they think that they're too good for certain labor. And I said it in 24. I don't know why Trump thought that the American people, once you started kicking immigrants out, that they were going to come in and take those fucking jobs. They have not taken the job. So once again, prognosticator strikes again, you motherfuckers. All right? So that's why I don't like doing this show. I knew all this shit was going to happen. I told you, if you don't believe me, go to my fucking live area of my YouTube fucking channel. It's got all those fucking episodes from 2024. And listen to me predict the future. Huh? Predict the fucking future. Anyway, sorry about that. I had to rub it in your faces because I got to go back to Tucker Carlson again. And the reason is, I don't like Tucker Carlson, but I want to see definitive proof that this guy was, aiding and abetting the Iranians. I mean, you could charge anybody with this shit. You could charge anybody. I mean, you could charge somebody that's, has friends in another country, and they could, comment on Discord, and all of a sudden it becomes some foreign agent act. So I think it's very, very scary that you've got this happening to Tucker Carlson. Unless he told the Iranians some shit. But I want to see proof. All right? I want to see proof. Now, while you've got Trump, putting us in a war, telling us that we may take over Cuba, telling us that we may throw in fucking troops to go fucking fight the cartels in Mexico, all this shit that he wants to do, you know what's big on his mind? The White House. Now, obviously, he has this big hard-on for this ballroom. Big hard-on for the ballroom. Now, what does he want to do now? He wants to tear down the columns in front of the fucking White House. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, this is what this guy's fucking thinking about? The fuck is this guy's problem? Appointees want to replace the White House columns with the ones Trump prefers. This guy is destroying our country. He's destroying the White House. What the fuck more proof do you fucking people need? How are people taking orders from this guy? I have no idea. He's literally rearranging America and putting us on a kamikaze course on our 250th anniversary of our country. All right? 250th anniversary of our country. So there you go. Those are the big important issues for Trump. The big important issues. Now, let's continue, okay? Because, I don't know what this administration's trying to do. They're going after Tucker Carlson, okay? I want to see proof that he was a foreign agent. Did you hear about this? The State Department just made it easier for people to renounce their citizenship. Can you believe this? State Department slashes fee to renounce U.S. citizenship by 80% to $450. Now, what the hell kind of sense does this make? I mean, you're encouraging people to leave? I mean, how is that making America great? By you're telling American people, basically encouraging them to renounce their citizenship. This is a fucking helter-skelter administration. It is the worst mistake America has ever made, and I designated that to Obama. All right? This Trump 2024 takes the cake when it comes to the worst administrations that I've ever lived under. I can't believe it. What sense does this make? I mean, what sense does this make? And by the way, I've had it. All right? You've got people now, did you hear about this? Americans are thinking, look, I do not encourage this, but Americans are considering withholding their federal income tax to protest Trump. Now, look, I do not suggest this at all. While I do not agree with almost anything the Trump administration is doing, we still benefit from the services and everything that America is. And for you to withhold income tax would not necessarily hurt the government, it would hurt us. It would hurt the American people. Now, if you're going to argue, well, Ghost, they just burn our money and they're doing, well, you're part of the government. This is a government made for the people and by the people. I'd like to remind you that you morons elected these jerks because you thought you knew everything when you don't know shit. And those are the most dangerous people in the world. The dumbest motherfuckers that think they know everything. All right? And black Jew bros, what the hell is this? Hey, Dad, I'm currently at 7-Eleven. What should I get? Get me a Frito pie and a Stella Artois and a honey bun. All right? Well, I'll leave out the honey bun. I shouldn't be fucking eating that. I'm working out. But anyway, the Frito pie, all right? Anyway, meet the Americans withholding their taxes in protest. I do not agree with this at all. I think you're asking for trouble, first and foremost. I mean, even if you get away with it 1 year, I mean, the IRS can go back 10 years of your fucking life and find everything that you didn't fucking claim or you overtook a deduction on or whatever. So I would not suggest doing this, but that just goes to show you how pissed people are about what's going on with this government. All right? Now, going back to the Tucker Carlson thing, the reason I'm a little upset is because I don't want anybody being censored because they're criticizing the government. One of the most American things to do is to criticize the government. All right? That's the most American thing to do. I mean, the government is not flawless. I mean, the government is very selfish. You know, unless we have our fucking hand on the ball. You know what I'm saying? Unless we're out there understanding every policy, unless we're out there understanding what the fuck we're voting for, we're going to continue to do this. And the bad part about it is that nobody really knows politics. Everybody thinks they do. They don't know shit. They don't know a goddamn thing. And I just find it funny that we're getting our rights taken away from us right from underneath our eyes, and nobody really gives a fuck. I mean, that's what I was so concerned about ICE. I mean, even before they were implemented, I said, look, it doesn't look like ICE is going to be a organization getting rid of immigrants. It looks like they're going to be whooping our ass. And that's exactly what's happening. Now, speaking of freedom of the press, freedom of speech, have you seen what the administration has done? Pete Buy Me a Beer Hegseth, our Secretary of War, wink, wink, he has now barred photographers because they have taken unflattering photos of him. Can you believe this shit? I mean, how vain are you, you fucking stupid loser? Who gives a shit about what the fuck you look like? You're supposed to be the leader of a goddamn department that's supposed to be conducting this war, you fucking stupid shithead. Jesus Christ, maybe this is why we're not doing so well against this fucking desert fucking people out there. All right? Maybe this is the reason. Oh, God. I'm going to ban you out of the damn press pool because you're taking unflattering photos of me. You're not getting my good side. Jesus fucking Christ. I hate this fucking guy. I'm sorry. The reason I hate him is because he's so underqualified. I mean, and every time that he fucking speaks, it's cringe. You know? It's like some fucking middle school kid trying to talk about some subject matter they obviously know nothing about. All right? And he overemphasizes in his cadence and his language, and it looks so fake and fucking, it looks pathetic. It looks fucking pathetic, man. And let me tell you, this blunder that we're in, this guy should, I hope somebody investigates what the hell happened in the Department of War for us to look so fucking stupid on the world stage after this Iran hit. And I tell you, it's this guy's incompetence. I can almost guarantee it. I can almost guarantee it. Now, before he became Secretary of War, I didn't think this guy was a bad guy. He was a decent personality, but he was a fucking TV personality. This guy had no qualifications to be this fucking position. No qualifications. Oh, God, man. Well, okay, so, I got Hegseth out here trying to censor the press. Who else do you got? Oh, yeah, take a look at this. The FCC threatens broadcast licenses amid Trump's criticism of the Iran war coverage. Oh, look at this. FCC threatening to pull fucking networks' licenses because they're covering the Iran war, how they're interpreting it based upon their investigations. I mean, this just gets worse and worse. It gets worse and worse. When is it going to end? I mean, this is so much overreach by any administration. I can't even tell you how we're still allowing this to happen. If you love this country, how are we allowing this to happen? And I want to say cheers to Chones over there who hooked it up with 5 gifted subs over there at Rumble. Cheers to you, man. I appreciate it, man. Happy Monday to you. I'm glad you're chilling with us today. But once again, FCC chair threatens to the licenses of the coverage of the war. Unfucking believable. And look, this is not just happening in America. They're getting even worse in the countries that are being hit up. Did you hear about this? Dubai, all right, the UAE is arresting foreign survivors of the Iranian drone strikes because they are the ones that released the footage. And Dubai, Saudi Arabia, even in Israel, believe it or not, they are arresting people if they happen to be showing coverage of these attacks and disseminated on the internet. And I mean, give me a fucking break. Well, I expect this from these countries, all right, because they're fucking primitive idiots. But I didn't expect this from the United States of America. And I am flabbergasted that there is not more American people that are yelling and screaming, "Hey, Trump, you can't do this. We got a constitution, you fucking skunk-headed fuck." But this is where we're at right now, right? This is where we're at, all right? Censorship and all this other shit. I mean, Trump here recently says that he wants fucking the death penalty for reporters reporting on the Iran war. Can you believe this fucking shit? Trump demands death penalty for reporters in unhinged war rant. So, I mean, where the fuck are we? I mean, how the fuck did we get here? How the fuck did we goddamn get here? Can somebody explain that to me? Oh, yeah, that's right. The American shitheads that went to the fucking polls and voted this shit in. I forgot about that shit. Even though I said all this fucking shit was going to happen in 24, all you dicks did was call me a Democrat and say MAGA. Well, hey, he who laughs last laughs loudest. All right? He who laughs last laughs loudest. You fucking piece of shit. All right, so I'm just saying, this is where we're at in America. Now, why are people upset? Because this fucking administration has had so many mixed messages on this goddamn war that nobody knows what to believe. At first, this is why I was always for the Iran war, is to liberate the people. I don't know if y'all know, people like to troll me about this, but I actually aided the 2009 Green Revolution in Iran when they operated in Paltalk because it was the only app at the time, it was a program, but app at the time that would evade the censorship of the Iranian government. And I aided in that organization of that protest, and I will never forget those folks. And I thought that Trump, that was his intention. But that's obviously not the intention. That was the first intention. Then it went all over the place. Like, we already won the war, or we got to finish the job, or it's an excursion, or it's a combat exercise, or, I mean, he doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't even know what he's saying. I don't believe he knows what he's saying. And let me explain to you why I don't think that he knows what he's saying. Let's go ahead and talk about Iran. The reason is, I think he's either getting bad advice, which is what he tried to suggest about 2 or 3 days after the war, or after the initial strikes. Because everybody was like, what the fuck is going on? What's going on? I mean, Iran should have been taken out within 48 hours. They weren't. All right. All of a sudden, they hit up our allies. They hit up our bases, which I predicted, by the way. And this is what Trump said why he did it. This is why he said, this is the first reason why he did it. This is why he said it first.
The situation was very quickly approaching the point of no return, and the United States found it intolerable, in my opinion, based on what Steve and Jared and Pete and others were telling me, Marco, so involved, that I thought that they were going to attack us. I thought that if we didn't do this.
He just threw everybody under the bus, from Witkoff to Jared Kushner to Hegseth to Rubio. He threw them all under the bus there. Like, look, they basically told me, we had to do it, so don't blame me, blame them. This is fucking classic Trump. This is what I've been telling you Trump does. He did it to me. He did it to Julian Assange. He did it to Guccifer. I don't know if y'all remember Guccifer. He did it to Seth Rich. He did it to us all right? Now, today, it's very interesting because today he said a very different tune today, okay? Let me show you what he said. And this is why I'm telling you, I don't know if this guy is playing with a full deck. I mean, in the Epstein files, Epstein suggested that Donald Trump had onset early signs of dementia. That he would forget friends, that he would, forget a whole bunch of shit. This should prove to you that that's probably the case. Take a listen to the erratic messagery that he had in the press conference earlier today. Take a look at this. Listen to this stupid shit.
If we ever needed help, they won't be there for us. I've just known that for a long period of time. We have some that are really enthusiastic. They're coming already. This isn't need. Need would be one of the big boys. If we need their mine boats, or if we need anything, any piece of apparatus that they may
this
have
fucking double
because of a
speak.
situation
This
that
fucking
they
double
have,
speak.
they should be jumping to help us. We want them to come and help us with the straight. My attitude is, we don't need anybody.
I mean, what the fuck is this? What is this guy talking about?
Far in the world. We don't need them.
Oh my God! I mean, are you fucking kidding me with this?
We haven't needed help.
Are you kidding me with this?
There for us.
I mean, this is a joke. All right, this is an absolute fucking joke. I mean, double speak, double messaging. I don't even know what the fuck to gather from that. And that was from a single event. All right, that was the press conference this morning. Oh God! And by the way, there was another thing that he said, which I can't believe he said, okay? I can't believe he said, because he's obviously fucking lying. He's obviously fucking lying. Now, take a listen to this. When asked, did you plan this, and did you plan for the Iranians to hit up our allies in the Middle East? And this is his fucking response. This is his response.
And power. Look what happened. In the last 2 weeks, they weren't supposed to go after all these other countries in the Middle East. Those missiles were set to go after them. So they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked.
What the fuck are you talking about? Trump, fucking bullshit, man. You're fucking lying. And you want to know why I'm lying? Because a week before the war, I said that what he said, that, oh, we didn't know they were going to do that. I said was going to happen. And if you don't believe me, let me go ahead and fucking remind you people, because you people like to pretend that, you don't ever fucking predict shit. You don't ever predict shit, Ghost. Well, take a look at this, all right? This was episode 760, all right? This was 3 weeks ago, and exactly a week before the goddamn hitting up. And let's put this in fucking theater mode, all right? A week before we hit up Iran. Listen and weep, all right? More on the foreign policy of the United States, this fucking Iran situation. All right, take a look at this. Trump approaches legacy-defining moment on Iran, a deal or war. Now, look, I think Trump went about doing this shit with Iran all wrong. If he was going to hit up Iran, he should have done it the first time when he told all the Iranian people to go out and raise up, that help was on the way and shit. He should have went in then. And he didn't. He had his hand on the chicken switch, didn't do shit, and all him telling the people of Iran to raise up and that help was on the way, all it did was have all these fucking people who uprised killed. That's right. Estimated 32 to 35,000 innocent Iranians killed. Now, if we were going to hit him up, we should have hit him up then. Because we could have. And look, one of the accomplishments I will give Trump and our military credit for is that they killed the Ayatollah, his replacements, and most of the clerical apparatus within 30 seconds. Okay? That should have been about it. Okay? We should have hit up the fucking Ayatollah. When the people that were already out there raising up found out he was dead, they'd be raising up. And guess what? Instead of us throwing any more missiles, we could have just dumped a bunch of cache of weapons, because we can obviously invade their airspace and have these fucking people help us destroy the goddamn government while we precision strike like we're doing now. I mean, how hard is this? They were ready, for fuck's sake. If we would have dropped guns down there, we would have fucking killed the whole fucking government, man. But no, this dumb fuck, Trump, decided to tell the people back in January when they were rising up, come on, raise up, help is on the way, and he didn't do a goddamn thing. And he let these people, now estimated 40,000 people, fucking die. And now that we're hitting them up, Trump's like, come on, Iranian people, raise up. They're not going to raise up, asshole. They killed everybody that potentially would want to raise up. And guess what? Everybody that's there are now dedicated. We're creating the legitimacy for the regime because of the scorched earth shit that we're doing. Bombing the goddamn oil fields. Black skies, acid rain. I've seen Taiwan videos where the fucking gas pipelines on the side streets fucking burst and it's flamed up the whole fucking street. This is fucking horrible. All right? We're radicalizing. All right? Trump comes out and he says, oh, we're going to have Iranian sleeper cells. Yeah, we're going to have Iranian sleeper cells because this fucking foreign policy is creating them. All right? That Michigan attack on that synagogue, that guy, his fucking family was bombed by Israel. And that was supposedly his motive. I mean, we've got a lot of Iranian folk in here, and we're indiscriminately bombing, and if their family gets fucking blown away, I don't think they're going to be very happy, right? You know what I'm saying? So look, Trump said that they had no idea, once again, no idea that Iran was going to hit up anybody at all. We didn't know that they were going to have these missiles. Listen to this. For listening to Trump, going in there and raising up, waiting for American troops to come in and save the day. Well, you know what? That didn't happen. And now, I don't think that we should be going into Iran now anymore because we already have fucking egg on our face.
That's right.
Moreover, we let the people down because of fucking idiot Trump tweeting out that, oh yeah, go out, raise up, help is on the way, and didn't do shit. We're not going to be greeted as liberators anymore, all right? We're not going to be greeted as liberators anymore because the people have a bad taste in their mouth because this fucking idiot president of ours told them to go out and raise up and that the fucking American military was going to come in and help them, and they didn't do shit. They didn't do shit. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't think we should go into Iran at all. All right, a week before the invasion, I want to remind you, a week before the invasion I said this. I don't think we should go into Iraq. The attack is not an invasion. The attack. And at all, let me tell you why. Listen, all right, we're in a position where if we take on mass casualties, that's going to show that we are weak on the world stage.
That's right.
And that we're not this big badass like we try to portray ourselves, and people are going to get emboldened. They're going to get emboldened. Because what Iran's doing now, okay, they're planning for worst case scenario. I mean, they're getting prepared for the absolute worst case. Each day goes by, they're preparing, and let me tell you what's going to happen. They're going to hit up every United States American base in the region. What? What? And guess what? The fucking countries that fucking Trump was saying, we didn't know they were going to hit up Bahrain and Saudi Arabia and UAE. We've got bases there, you fucking numbnuts. Of course they were going to hit it up. And as I stated, they're waiting for worst case scenario. We fucking missed the opportunity of surprise. We fucking dropped the ball, and it's because of the fucked up schizophrenic diplomacy of Trump. Obviously, you're going to throw everything they got at Israel, which, you know, you can debate whether we should do something about that or not, but that's the point. I mean, it's going to be everything thrown at us, and we are going to take mass casualties. And some of our military assets in the region are going to be destroyed. So how does that make us look on the world stage? Well, it's not making us look very good, Ghost, and thank you for prognosticating that literally a week before we hit up the fucking Iranians. And for Trump to sit here and say, we had no idea. How the fuck did I know and you didn't know? All right? And if you believe that, then we're in big trouble. I mean, if that's for real, we're in big trouble. All right, that we didn't know. And you know what? Maybe he didn't know. You want to know why? Because he fucking admitted, all right, at one of these fucking rallies, fucking idiot Trump, he's like, I fall asleep during the war planning meetings. All right, I'm sorry. I'm an old guy, you know. I fell asleep at the war planning meeting. So, let's hear this
Fury!
shit. Listen to this shit. Listen to this moron. And look, these idiots are cheering for him like a bunch of fucking morons, like a bunch of mindless idiots.
Well, it's only good if you win. You know, you can only do. And we've won. Let me say, we've won.
Oh, yeah, are you sure?
You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won.
You
won.
sure?
In the first hour, it was over. But we won. But they gave me a list of names of generals. Sir, you could pick the name you'd like, sir. I said, the name of what? The name of the attack on Iran, sir. And they gave me like 20 names. And I'm like falling asleep. I didn't like any of them.
I'm like falling asleep.
Epic Fury. I said, I like that name.
Oh, my God, dude. I mean, how is anybody still supporting this guy? How is anybody still supporting this guy? Can somebody explain this to me? And Ray said, if you tell people something they like to hear, they'll follow you anywhere, even into hell. I mean, give me a break. He admits that he's fallen asleep during the war planning meeting. So, I don't know. Maybe this is some kind of indirect, plausible deniability situation by Trump. All right? And then Iran survives. All right, take a look at this. U.S. intel warns Iran regime not in danger of collapse even after top leaders wipe out in strikes. And it's just like I mentioned on the show that I just showed you. It's because everybody that was in opposition to this regime is dead. And it's because, if you want my opinion, I think it's Trump's fault. I think Trump, all right, cock-teasing, no pun intended, the fucking people of Iran saying, yeah, raise up, help is on the way in January. He had all these people killed that could have been greatly aiding our military operation in Iran. I don't think that they would have been able to deploy as many missiles if they had to deal with a domestic incursion or a domestic upheaval on top of being bombed from outside militaries. It makes me sick that how poorly this fucking military action was planned, how poorly it was implemented. And I hope that somebody in a future administration investigates the people that conducted this war, because it has made us look like fucking idiots. It's make us look like idiots, because the whole reason why we had bases in the Middle East, in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, UAE, was to protect them. All right, that's why we're there. Just in case some shit like this happens. And guess what? We don't have and I can't believe I'm saying this, we don't have the radar capability to stop a lot of these munitions, especially short-range munitions and drones, that we're getting our bases obliterated out there in the Middle East. And on top of which, Iran is utilizing terrorism. I'll be honest, they're utilizing terrorism in order to shock the world into believing that this was a very horrible idea, which it was. But I think that we could have gotten this thing. I think we could have won this thing if Trump didn't open his big fat fucking mouth in January and tell the people to raise up. Tell the people to raise up. I cannot believe this. And why no general? Why no CIA operative? Why nobody is telling this fucking moron this? All right? Jesus Christ. I'll tell you, the regime would have been in danger had they fucking hit him up in January. And those 40,000 people that were dead, they would have helped us. Now, I don't know if y'all heard, but Trump, because people are or I should say ships, are no longer, kind of cruising through the Strait of Hormuz. We talked about this earlier. Well, Trump told the tankers that were in the Strait of Hormuz to show some guts and go ahead and travel through there. Come on, show some guts. They were bombed. All right, they were bombed, and that's why we don't have any ships going through there. We don't have any ships going through there, and as I mentioned, the longer it goes, we, the United States, could be blamed for causing a massive global famine because 40% of the world's fertilizer comes through here, and of course, I would say 80% of the food that goes into the Middle East goes through there. I'm talking the countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, that sort of thing. So, I mean, this is just getting horrible. This is just getting bad. This is fucking getting bad, man. And I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about this. But guess what? Just to show you that Iran is still in control of the Strait of Hormuz, and the messagery by this administration is trying to convince us otherwise. Take a look at this. Strait of Hormuz. Which countries is allowed to pass the Strait of Hormuz safely? Iran is dictating who's going to be passing safely. And take a look at the list, okay? Pakistan is allowed to pass safely without any kind of incursion by Iran. India, all right, is now allowed and will not be hit up by Iran. Turkey, now this is a very dangerous precedent here. Because as I mentioned, I believe on the last show, watch out for Turkey in this region. Turkey is waiting, in my opinion, to enter this conflict. And it's waiting for the right opportunity to do so. And the fact that Iran is utilizing this allowance of Turkish ships to go through the Strait of Hormuz, it's kind of like an olive branch. It's kind of like a suggestion, like, hey, we're okay. All right, we're okay with you. We're not going to hit you up. So if Turkey ends up becoming some kind of indirect ally of Iran, I think we're getting into some serious shit. All right, because I don't think Turkey is nothing to scoff at. All right, I'm serious. I don't think Turkey's nothing to scoff at. And then, of course, China. China is allowed to go through with impunity. So China, I guess, is going to get fertilizer and all that, oil and all that other bullshit. And, of course, take a look at this. France and Italy are now having to request talks with Iran about lowering their ships to pass the strait as well. So France and Italy are now going towards the enemy. And look, I've said this literally 24 hours after the first strike. I said, this is a horrible debacle. This is the worst military blunder in American history. And that if Trump wants to save face, he needs to go to one of these European countries. Now, look, I hope somebody in the fucking CIA or in the goddamn Trump administration is listening to this. If you want to save face, if the Italian president, that prime minister bitch that with the resting bitch face, or that fruity-ass Macron, if they're able to get some kind of meeting with the president of Iran or the foreign minister of Iran, I would definitely use that as an opportunity to ask France or Italy in an attempt to negotiate some kind of ceasefire and some kind of peace agreement. This way, both sides end up saving face, and they both can walk away saying, yeah, we kicked their ass. No, we kicked their ass. And this way we can kind of go back to normal in a decent time frame. Okay? But other than that, I don't see an end. I think Trump is pot committed on completely obliterating Iran, which is making us look like a terrorist nation state. It's making us look bad. It's making us look real bad, and this is not what America is supposed to look like. We're not supposed to look like some terrorist state. You know, we're not supposed to look like that. But guess what? I know everybody's thinking it's Israel that's forcing Trump's hand. I'm sure it's part of it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he admitted that that's why they struck, was because of Israel. But also, Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince of the Saudi Arabian kingdom, was also a big cheerleader and is telling Trump to continue to hit Iran. And that's because bin Salman has a vested interest in making sure that Iran is no longer even a threat. Because really, what Saudi Arabia wants to do, once Iran's out of the picture, UAE and Saudi Arabia may have a conflict. They're already in a proxy war, I don't know if y'all are familiar with this, in Sudan. All right? The Rapid Support Forces, I believe, are being, and that's the opposition to the government in Sudan. They're being backed up by the UAE, and the Sudan government, I believe, is being backed up by the Saudi Arabians. And it's been a fucking complete mess over there. So they're already fighting a de facto kind of a proxy war in Sudan. And now you've got Trump being influenced by not just the Israelis, but also the Saudi Arabians to destroy Iran so that, the next phase of the Middle Eastern idea is that Saudi Arabia and UAE go head to head. And I wouldn't be surprised if Qatar kind of flanks them. I wouldn't be surprised if Turkey also flanks them. So there's a lot of shit going on in the Middle East, which is what I anticipated was going to happen if we did hit up Iran. I just didn't think we were going to look this bad. I didn't think we were going to not plan this military event. I didn't realize we were going to plan it so horribly. I cannot believe we planned this so horribly. I'm in shock. All right, because we don't look that great. Okay? We don't look that great. Now, granted, I mean, we have taken out most of the clerical authority. You know, the Ayatollah, the clerics. We even took out his gay son. You hear that about this? The new supreme leader is probably on life support after being maimed in an airstrike that killed his terrorist father. Now, this is the son of the former Ayatollah that was taken out, and he hasn't made any public appearance. The only public appearance that they put out in Iranian media was him on, I'm not joking, his face on a cardboard cutout is the only thing that we've seen of this guy. And why am I saying he's gay? Because that was what the assessment was when Trump was given his national security briefing on this dude, that he probably is a homosexual. And reports said that, I don't know, I guess Trump chuckled or some shit. He should have been on Epstein Island or something. I'm joking. That's not what he said. But anyway, this is where we're at. All right, now, with that being said, I told you all that Trump sucking the schlong head of Putin wasn't going to do a goddamn thing. It wasn't going to do a goddamn thing. And guess what? We're right. Take a look at this. Iran officially confirms military support from Russia and China in the war against the United States of America. Now, of course, they're going to help because we're helping the Ukrainians, right? So all this ass kissing to fucking Putin. All right, inviting him over, red carpet treatment, hugging him in Alaska, and all this fucking crap. What did we get out of this at all? What did we get out of this? This is the dumbest foreign policy I've ever seen in my life, and I tried to tell you this was going to be in 24. All right, we look like idiots. No one's respecting us anymore. All right, the fucking Russia and China have no fear about supplying weapons to Iran, and we're not going to retaliate in any capacity. So, I mean, give me a fucking break, man. I mean, this is unbelievable, and I'm telling you, this is what I predicted in 24. I said that we're going to make such a mess of the international community because of this warped foreign policy by Trump that we're now going to become the bad guys. And that's what the name of the episode of True Capitalist Radio was, the last episode. Because we are the bad guys. We're looking like the bad guys. Whether you don't believe we are or not, we are pissing everybody off, all right, in more ways than one. It's not just this Iran war. It's like, I'm going to take over Greenland. I'm going to kidnap Maduro. I'm going to take over Cuba. I'm going to take over taking a piss on our allies. Blanketed fucking tariffs on everybody. I mean, we're going to become such a pariah. And didn't I say that we're going to become the pariahs of the world? We're going to become such a pariah that the world is going to unite against us in order to take us out. All right? So I don't know where we're going. I'm really surprised our military is allowing this to happen. I'm surprised people in the internal government are allowing this to happen. We are literally suiciding ourselves. We are literally suiciding ourselves. And everybody in America doesn't care because they're watching an anime cartoon, getting their thumbs bruised on a goddamn video game or on Grindr, looking for, I don't know, cocks or something with the passage ass up, door open or some shit like that. And Kits doesn't flip. Is Iran going to make a fake AI of the Ayatollah queer to showcase he's alive like the IDF did with Benjamin Netanyahu? And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. All right, we're going to talk about all that here in a second. Stop getting ahead. All right, I'm trying to present the material here. But anyway, once again, Russia and China aiding Iranians. All right. Now, what's Trump's next thing to do? He's trying to guilt trip the Europeans to help. All right. Take a look at this. Donald Trump warns NATO faces a very bad future if allies fail to help U.S. and Iran. Now, what does Trump need our help? What does Trump need help for? He claims that we're the strongest military. We got this, we got that. Literally this morning, he was on his knees begging Europe. And then on the same breath, he's like, well, we don't need anybody. We don't need anybody. Dude, I told you all this was going to happen. Europe would have been on board with us had this fucking asshole and J.D. Vance not spit in their face. Had J.D. Vance and fucking Trump not blanketed tariff these people and disrespect them. And this was horrible diplomacy. Absolute horrible diplomacy. And now Trump thinks that, he can guilt trip the Europeans into helping? Are you fucking nuts? And what's Europe's response as Trump is groveling in his biggest military blunder ever? What's Europe's response? Fuck you. That's what the Europeans' response is. I'm not joking around. Fuck you. Fuck you is the response. Here's fucking Starmer, all right, giving his 2 cents, all right, on what he plans to do with the UK. Let's take a listen here. Play it.
Because moments like this also tell you about leadership. Whether to commit British troops to military action is the most serious responsibility for any Prime Minister. I have been attacked by some for my decision not to join the offensive against Iran. But at every stage, I've stood by my principles. Principles which I held just as strongly when it came to debate about the Iraq War in 2003. Principles which I believe are shared by the British people, that our decision should be based on a calm, level-headed assessment of the British national interest.
So basically, fuck you, Trump, and here, have some tea on me, all right, from Starmer. So UK, and look, UK usually does anything we say. They said fuck no, all right? And Germany, their response is the following. We won't help you reopen the strait. This is your fucking war, all right? This is not NATO's war. It's your war, all right? I mean, what did Trump think that this... I mean, dude, whoever the fuck's advising him, or if it's his decisions, I mean, something has to be done in a future administration. I mean, this fucking administration has thrown America back 100 fucking years. In foreign policy, in economic policy, in domestic policy. And what did I say was going to happen? The Europeans, once Trump pissed in their fucking eye, I said the Europeans are going to start going elsewhere. And what are the Europeans doing? That's exactly what they doing. All right? That's exactly what they're doing. They're turning away. They're turning away, for Christ's sake. And take a look at this. This is the leader of Belgium, okay? Calling to normalize ties with Russia in response to what the fuck the United States has done. And the reason that the Belgian, PM or whatever, prime minister, the reason that he wants to normalize with Russia, because come wintertime, they're going to have a major energy crisis because of this Iran fucking military operation. And they're going to fucking freeze to death if they don't figure out how they're going to fucking solve this energy crisis before the next winter. So, wow. I mean, this fucking Trump has really fucked up America. I just can't underestimate. I can't underscore how much this president has fucked us up. And anybody who thinks that this is a great foreign policy, you don't know shit. Okay, you don't know a goddamn thing. So that was the response by Europe when Trump was trying to guilt trip them, you know what I'm saying, into, I don't know, helping with the Strait of Hormuz situation. I mean, it sounded like groveling to me. While at the same time, he was trying to throw his chest up in the middle of that doublespeak. Now, aside from the Belgian prime minister saying that Europe needs to normalize ties with Russia, you've also got them going to China. Take a look at this. Top U.S. allies are turning towards China. Blame Trump. Okay? European allies broadly support building closer ties with China and believe America's role as a global superpower is fading. No shit. I said this was going to happen in 24, you fucking morons. If you listen to me in 24 and you're still for this shit, you're a fucking enemy of America. All right? Because none of the things that have been going on by this administration benefits America at all. It doesn't benefit America at all. How does any of this shit benefit America? Can somebody explain that to me? You can't. You can't fucking do it. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Let's go ahead and talk about China. All right. Now, supposedly, later this month, Trump was supposed to take a trip to China. And I told you on the last broadcast that China was actually looking forward to it. They were saying, no, we have good relations. Despite the Iran war, we have good relations. Well, take a look at this. Trump sidestepped diplomacy on his way to war in Iran. So what this means is he's going to skip. All right, he's going to skip the fucking planned trip to China. And he's claiming that he's going to focus on the Iran war, which I just told you that's not what he was doing. He's fucking worried about tearing down the columns in front of the damn White House and ballrooms and dumb shit like this. So why would Trump want to sidestep the meeting which in China later this month? Why would he want to do this? Well, it's because what the guy you just saw there, Besant, okay, the guy that you just saw there, he was able to, there was something called the Paris Conference. And at the Paris Conference, Besant actually at least had verbal confirmation that China is signaling openness to buying more agricultural products once again. And you see, that right there is somewhat of a leeway into diplomatic efforts to stabilize the trade deals that we had that have now been tariffed to hell. So things are thawing with China, but I worry about China because, remember, Sun Tzu was from China, wrote The Art of War and shit. And the reason I say that, take a look at this. Large-scale air activities near Taiwan begin to restart. And as you can see, things are getting a little hefty in the fucking region outside of Taiwan. And I'll be honest with you now, I believe that the probability of Taiwan being invaded by China has now gone up. At first, before Trump, I thought it was like 30%. 30% probability that China invades Taiwan. They got a lot to lose. I've talked about why they probably wouldn't. But now that we're doing what we're doing, and now that the Russians are still engaged in the war in Ukraine, and you've got a war going on between the Taliban and Pakistan, You've got situations brewing elsewhere. I think they're considering making a fucking move because they know that we're not going to come to their aid. I mean, we're too busy wrapped up in Iran and Venezuela and Cuba and Mexico and Canada and Greenland and all this other shit. I actually believe that China will make a move. When they will make a move, I have no idea. But the fact that they're doing all these exercises, and they've been doing these exercises consistently for the past 6 months, I think the probability of them invading is now 75%. I think it's 75% they invade. Now, what will happen if they invade? You think that RAM costs a lot now? You think that microchips, the shit that's put in devices like your fucking cell phone and your computer, you think they're expensive now? I think 70% of the chip market, I think even more, I think it's like 75% of the chip market comes out of Taiwan. And that's really what fucking China wants. Okay, aside from the unification of the Chiang Kai-shek folks with the Mao Zedong folks, they want the means of production to those chips because they are on full production right now when it comes to AI, robotics, etc. And they want cheap access to the means of production of those chips. And I think that's what it's about. And that's why I'm saying I think it's 75% chance that these people are going to invade. I would say in the next year or two. All right, but they're preparing. All right, they're preparing. But as I stated, all right, take a look at this. U.S.-China trade talks stable, despite mutual accusations. And, of course, this was at the Paris summit. This is where the Secretary of Treasury of America was there. The finance person for China was there. And this is where these deals were made. And this is why the visit by Trump to China later this month may be sidelined. It may be sidelined because I don't think it's as stable as they're trying to portray. I really don't think it's as stable. Anyway, let's go ahead and go on to Russia here. Take a look at this. Zelensky came out today, and he's validated that Russia is providing Iran with Shahed drones used against the United States bases. And guess what? Zelensky, because his country has been engaged in drone warfare for a little bit now, I mean, it has production of drones online. I mean, they're mass producing them. As a matter of fact, I think they're one of the leaders in drone technology. That's why they've been able to kind of withstand this overwhelming force of wave after wave of Russian forces is because of these drone technologies. And Zelensky put his hand out in diplomacy, trying to tell Trump, look, we'll help you. We'll give you drones. Look, Russia's giving Iran drones. We'll give you drones. And you know what Trump said? You know what Trump said? This is what Trump said here. Okay, I'm not joking around. Trump snubs Zelensky and his offer to help and then lashes out at him for not making a deal with Putin. I mean, what a fucking jerk. What kind of diplomacy is this? All right? What the fuck kind of diplomacy is this shit, man? This guy Zelensky's offering to help. All right, he's got the drones, and he fucking snubs him and lashes out at him for not making a deal with Putin. What the fuck kind of shit is this, man? What the fuck kind of shit is this? Like we don't need the help? Like we don't need the drone help right now? And meanwhile, fucking Putin is supplying the Iranians with fucking drones that are killing our U.S. forces. What kind of sense does this make? I mean, come on, people in the administration, if you think that this is patriotic, give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. Snubbing the people we've been helping, all right, and backing up the asshole that's supplying drones to the people that are killing us. What a fucking joke. This is why America is falling right here. This fucking schizophrenic fucking foreign policy. And that's why all of a sudden Trump is making America look so bad that all of a sudden Putin is looking like the good guy. I cannot believe it. I cannot fucking believe it, man. All right, Putin's coming out looking like the good guy. I said it on the last broadcast. Jesus Christ. And take a look at this. This is out of Kyiv Independent. Russia, Trump find common ground in blaming Zelensky for stalled peace talks. Unfucking believable. I mean, what a betrayal. No one's ever going to trust America ever again. On every front possible. No one's ever going to trust America when it comes to their partnerships in foreign policy. No one's ever going to trust America for their word. No one's ever going to come here as an immigrant and get nationalized citizenship because they're going to fear that that shit's going to be taken back in 10, 15 years and they're going to be put back in a country that they were trying to fucking leave. Unfucking believable, man. I just, this is sick. All right, this is just fucking sick, man. I'm watching the destruction of my country being kamikazed from within, and all the American people can do is put their thumbs up their ass, all right, take it out, put it into their mouth, because that's the only flavor that they're going to taste, all right? Jesus fucking Christ. And what about Israel? Let's talk a little bit about Israel, all right? Because they're our supposed ally in this Iranian fight. Israeli security sources, war against Iran slower than planned. No shit. And by the way, who the fuck planned this? All right? I think they should be fucking put in prison, whoever planned this. Because whoever planned this threw America back 100 years. No, we are no longer the superpower. We are showing that we are vulnerable on the world stage, and we are emboldening our enemies. While we're making new enemies, by the way. Look, I hate to say this. I think we need to take a step back. I mean, I hate to sound like Rand Paul and Ron Paul here, but I think that we need to take a step back from this shit. All right, and reassess our military strength. The fact that we had our bases in the Middle East attacked successfully, all right, shows that we are fucking vulnerable more vulnerable than we think. More fucking vulnerable than we think. And speaking of which, it has been circulated and suggested that Benjamin Netanyahu may not be with us, all right? I mean, I'm not joking around. It's been circulated that he may not be with us. Now, why? Well, first of all, he has failed to make 2 national security meetings that he usually presides over, all right? So he's missing in action there. Secondly, the Iranians actually pinpointed the home he was in, and it got blown to bits. And there has been footage of what, I mean, it's not confirmed Benjamin Netanyahu, but there were bodies being pulled out of that rubble. And many of them believe that one of them may be Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, to counter this rumor that has been going off all over the internet, Benjamin Netanyahu has put out several different videos that have been proven as AI deepfakes, which also just kind of fuels the rumor that Benjamin Netanyahu is dead. Now, this is the most recent one today. All right, if you saw the first one in the coffee house, I mean, that was more than obvious. More than obvious. Now, take a look at this one. Take a look at the ring on Benjamin Netanyahu's finger. You see that right there? Take a look at the ring. All right. All right. This is when now it's gone. Okay, now it's gone. Okay. Now it's back. Okay. Now it's back. Gone and back. This is the second video that the Israelis have put out trying to claim proof of life of Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, I'll be honest with you. I personally believe, and look, this is my assessment from my sources. I think that he's either incapacitated or he has been diminished. He's dead. And the reason the Israelis are not going to come out and say, yeah, he's dead, because that would be a fucking gold star for everybody in the Middle East. As a matter of fact, I think it'll embolden not only the Iranians, but some of these Salafist and Wahhabist Sunni fragments, that will raise up and get emboldened by the death of Benjamin Netanyahu. Lest we forget, Benjamin Netanyahu's Israel is being seen as the aggressor in this Middle East conflict. So this is why you've got the Israelis, doing everything they can in order to prevent the news of Benjamin Netanyahu's death to come publicly. It would be a psychological disaster for the Israeli people, if you want my personal opinion. And it's getting, let let's just put it this way. Because we aided them, we're hated now. We're hated. And by the way, Israel is not done. They're bombing Lebanon while bombing Iran. And guess what? They're still going scorched earth on fucking Palestine. Take a look at this. Israeli attack kills 13, including 2 children in Gaza and a pregnant woman. Okay? Meanwhile, more than 20,000 patients await evacuation as Rafah crossing is set to partially reopen on Wednesday. So we don't look very good. Okay? We don't look very good. Israel doesn't look very good. We don't look backing. We don't look good backing up Israel. This is a fucking complete mess. All right? This is an absolute, complete fucking mess for America. And I think that we need to pull back. I fucking hate to say this. I hate to say this for America. I can't stand it. But we made such a mistake. I think the best thing for us to do is to try to delicately find a way to get the fuck out of this thing. I mean, this is just a complete mess. A complete fucking mess. And like I said earlier, and I said 24 hours after the Iran attack, I said it was the worst military blunder in American history, and that if Trump wanted to save face, he needs to use Europe as a diplomatic vehicle in an attempt to negotiate some kind of a ceasefire and a peace agreement. Okay, and if Trump doesn't do that, I think we're destined for more damage, more casualties, and possibly a massive attack on our homeland. And I predicted that we were going to have an attack on our homeland by a nation state in 24. Didn't I tell you that? I told you. Prognosticator of prognosticators strikes again. All right, dude, I'm kind of bummed. All right, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. All right. I'm sorry, I can't give you guys any good news. There's nothing good to talk about. I mean, y'all voted this shit in. I told you this was going to happen. It's happening. All right? So it is what it is. I don't know what else to tell you. But let's go ahead and get to the totally useless news segment of the broadcast, shall we? Everybody loves the totally useless news segment of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Let's go to the first one here. Did y'all hear about this? Man accused of using taco seasoning packets in order to steal $40,000 from Target. Now, what was he stealing? I mean, how could you use taco seasoning packets to steal anything that's $40,000 worth? Fucking Pokemon cards. Fucking Pokemon cards. This fucking idiot, all right, would go, of course it's in Florida, all right, there's a lot of fucking weirdos in Florida. I don't get what, I know it's like literally geographically positioned as the colon of America, but it literally is. But yeah, he used the taco seasoning packet. He would have them all in a bag, mix it up with Pokemon cards, and only ring up the fucking taco packets. That's it. Self-checkout shit, yes. Self-checkout shit. I mean, give me a break. And by the way, the fact that you've got Pokemon cards this expensive goes to show you the mentality of America. I mean, it emphasizes why we have such a fucking stupid, schizophrenic, fucking totalitarian government at this point, and nobody cares. And nobody fucking cares. So there you go. That's our first story of the totally useless news segment. Let's get to the second one. Again, out of Florida. Okay, I'm not joking. Now, this one is somewhat unhinged, but kind of humorous. Take a look at this. Florida man destroys a Chinese restaurant with a shovel, claiming to be a prophet to end the new COVID strain, according to an affidavit. Now, this looks like a mixed breed brother. I don't know if this brother was on Fenty. I don't know if he's on crack. But, of course, he goes to a Chinese restaurant, I guess thinking that they're serving bats or dog or some shit, and starts going apeshit and wrecking the place with a shovel and claiming to be a prophet to end the new COVID strain that apparently was going to be distributed at this fucking Chinese restaurant or some shit. I have no idea. And it does look like a fucking cancer victim version of Dame Drops. I do appreciate that. Yeah, I do appreciate that. Yeah, he looks like a fucking cancer victim Dame Drops. But anyway, there we go. Another totally useless news. Once again, let us continue. We got a couple more of them. All right. Now, this is probably the most disturbing. It is out of where the hell is this out of? This is out of I forgot where the fuck this is.
On News 6 tonight.
Sorry, Central Florida. All right. I knew it was from Florida. I just wanted to know where. Central Florida. Now, this involves two young girls in high school. They're like 13 and 15 years old. Okay? They planned to kill one of their classmates. Okay? They planned to kill one of their classmates by slicing their throat or stabbing them. And then they believed that that would unleash the spirit of the Sandy Hook shooter, which this victim looked verily similar to. I am not fucking joking. Watch the clip, all right?
On News 6 tonight.
Watch the clip.
We are seeing two teens accused of making plans to kill one of
And by the way, look at how they act in the patrol car on the way to jail, on top of that.
their classmates laughing in the back of a patrol car after their arrest. Investigators say the girls brought supplies and a knife to Lake Brantley High and were caught the morning of that planned attack. Your Seminole County community correspondent, Catherine Silver, has been following this story since the very beginning. And Catherine, this video is another disturbing moment in this case.
It's horrible.
Absolutely. These girls are just 14 and 15 years old
14,
and facing
15.
capital felonies. Detectives say they plan to kill a boy who reportedly looked like the Sandy Hook school shooter. Investigators say one of them believed if she killed her classmate, she would have a blood bond that would resurrect the now deceased Sandy Hook shooter from the dead. This is the first time that we're seeing and hearing from both girls.
Oh my God. And look at how they act.
Cameras captured
this is
the
where
moment
we're at
right
in
after
America.
Isabel Valdez
this is
and
where
Lois
we're at in
Lippert's
America.
arrest
Watch.
in January.
Watch.
This is video we're seeing publicly for the first time. Wednesday morning, it will be shown in court. Prosecutors plan on arguing it's one of the reasons why both girls should stay behind bars. This is a motion filed ahead of the pretrial detention hearing that says that patrol car recorded everything, how the 14 and 15-year-old were discussing how much prison time they might receive, how they plan to sharpen the knife they were going to use in the attack, and what their parents might think.
They're laughing.
My mom's going to be yelling at me through the phone. What are you doing? Why are you trying to kill a kid?
Detectives say that Valdez planned to wait for a classmate in the bathroom, stab him or cut his throat, and then leave flowers and smoke a cigarette after the killing was complete. The plan was foiled by an anonymous tip that gave law enforcement the chance to intervene.
He f***ing snitched. God, I knew I shouldn't have told him. Because he was like, oh, can you please tell me I can't sleep tonight? You!
The video
why'd you
shows
tell
the
him,
pair joking
Daddy?
during their car ride together, talking about how they would look for their mugshots and how they were supposed to spread their story around the true crime community.
What the fuck?
Were you trying to look good for your mugshot?
Oh, am I gonna get a mugshot?
What, we're going to jail? What do you think?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, I was gonna do my makeup this morning for the mugshot, but I couldn't find anything.
I'm glad I don't actually look too bad today.
I look horrible. It's over.
Later, Valdez can be heard saying she thought she would be going to a psych ward.
Dude, I thought I was gonna get sent to the psych ward. That's why I was so excited about everything. You think I would be so jolly if I was going to jail?
Another piece of evidence we're learning about tonight is a conversation between the two girls on Discord. Prosecutors say they shared messages there saying things like, quote, it's going to be over by tomorrow, and I hugged my parents extra tight today. I kind of feel bad for what's coming.
This is America, folks, okay? This is America. This is why our country's being flushed down the proverbial toilet. That's why we're allowing everything that is trampling on our Constitution to happen. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. And as I stated many times, I don't know how you fix this. All right? I don't think you can fix this. All right? I don't think you can. Anyway, let me get another totally useless news. Well, maybe this is not that useless. The guy who owned the World Trade Center during 9/11 and who got that very generous insurance policy payout courtesy of the 9/11 attacks, Larry Silverstein, okay, I don't know if y'all are familiar with who he is. Yes, he's still alive. And guess what? He bought another building. That's right. He bought another building in downtown Los Angeles. Silverstein lands a 24,000 square foot lease at LA's U.S. Bank Tower. Now, remember the last time this guy had a huge lease on a big tower, they both went down, all right? And he and, the Secretary of Commerce, Lutnick, and a lot of people just decided not to go to work that day and all got a big payout. So I'm just simply stating that if we get a terrorist act of 9/11 proportions, you might want to keep an eye on this building. I'm just saying. I'm not saying there is going to be anything on there. I'm just saying the last time this guy did this, he had, I don't know, bad luck, a coincidence. I don't know. But like I said, I don't think this news is that useless, considering that if you happen to work in this building, I don't know. I mean, you may want to think about it twice. That's all I'm simply stating, all right? All right, this was the guy that owned the World Trade Center. Well, he had the lease on the World Trade. He didn't even own it. And Kitts does a flip. Even Stevie Wonder can see that there's a false flag coming. Thank you for the Rumble rant, Kitts. All right. Anyway, last but not least, okay, did you hear that there is a MAGA civil war going on? A MAGA civil war, and it has everything to do with Megyn Kelly and Mark Levin. Now, Mark Levin, of course, is the so-called conservative commentator that I don't know what he has on Trump. I don't know if y'all remember. Let me see if I even had that footage. Let me see if I have that footage where he's on stage at the White House, and he gets so close to Trump, he starts muscling him around. You know what I mean? He starts muscling him around and shit. And I'm like, how the fuck can this guy get away with that? Nobody should be able to touch the fucking president that close and fucking manhandle him and shit. All right? So, in my opinion, either Mark Levin, either he has dirt on Trump, or the people that are backing up Levin have some shit on Trump, because I don't get it. I don't get why Mark Levin has all this fucking leverage. All right? And hold on, I'm currently looking for it. I think I have it in my bookmarks here. I'm trying to look for it. But he muscles Trump around. Sorry, I got a bunch of Epstein shit in here. Hold on, let me just look for it here for a second. And then I'm going to talk about the whole situation between Mark Levin and Megyn Kelly. Now, let me just surmise it here. They're both, kind of calling each other MAGA, not MAGA, fake MAGA, you're not real MAGA. And then it's resorted to Megyn Kelly calling Mark Levin a micropenis. Okay? That's where we're at right now in the political discourse. Calls him a micropenis. And then you've got Major E. Green Taylor, all right, agreeing with this broad. So this is where we're at in political discourse, and Trump had something to say about it, which I'll show you here in a second. Hold on, let me just search this shit. I'm sorry, let me just search Trump and Mark Levin. All right, I'm just saying, because it's a very peculiar video. All right, where he fucking muscles him around and shit. Yeah, here it is right here. Let's go ahead and do this. Fucking muscles him around like some punk. I mean, you shouldn't even be able to do this to the president. Take a look at this. Look at this. Y'all remember this? Look at this.
And these people do like Israel.
Hold on.
Look at him.
And he loves Israel too.
Look at this guy. Look at him muscle him around.
2 seconds. 6 years ago, I was up here. And I said,
look at him muscle him around.
Now he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies.
First Jewish president.
That's right. Bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged.
All right.
And we found
muscling him around like he's some fucking, little kid being bullied in a goddamn playground. Well, I don't know what Mark Levin has on Trump. Did you see this? Trump, after this little spat between Mark Levin and Megyn Kelly, Trump goes, I am MAGA, and defends the true conservative Mark Levin, and said, if you're not down with Mark Levin, you're not MAGA. All right? So, I mean, what a slap in the face to all you idiots that sold your soul to this moron. All right? You're not MAGA unless you're down with Mark Levin. All right? Did you hear that, MAGA-tards? If you're not down with Mark Levin, you're a fucking traitor to the country. All right? If you're not down with Mark Levin, according to fucking Trump, you're spitting on our troops. All right? If you're not down with Mark Levin. All right? If you're not down with Mark Levin, you hate America. All right? That's straight from Trump. Now, look, you know it's bad. You know it's bad when all of a sudden Alex Jones starts turning on Trump. All right? And this guy is worse than cat turd as far as I'm concerned when it comes to being a fucking Trump simp. All right? But take a look at Alex Jones over here. While he's on vacation, take a look at this.
Here's the bottom line. Trump is saying you either declare your support and allegiance to Mark Levin against Israel, or you're not MAGA. That's what this is all about. Are you Israel first or America first? Israel sees a power vacuum with the Democrats falling apart. They really are trying to take over not just our foreign policy, but our domestic policy. And this is just absolutely, totally, and completely insane. I hate watching Trump commit political suicide. He still does so much good, but Israel's forcing this.
Still does so much good? What are you talking about, you fucking goddamn disgusting leather bag? What are you talking about? And look at this face. What the hell happened to you, Alex? I mean, you look worse than Pete Rose after he got busted betting on baseball. You know, take a look at Pete Rose's face after he got caught betting on baseball. He looked like a shameless idiot. He looked like some fucking, he was such a tough guy, Pete Rose. I'm talking the baseball player. And same with Alex Jones. Look at Alex Jones, for Christ's sake. He looks like a catcher's mitt, for fuck's sake. Give me a fucking break.
This litmus test Netanyahu is. I don't know if they're blackmailing Trump or he just firmly believes in all this, but it's the worst possible political thing he can do. Mark Levin is as popular in MAGA as cancer is with the general public.
So you lost Alex Jones, but I mean, remember, Alex's whole grift is dependent on Trump. So he's trying to tread careful lines because he knows enough people like myself. I try to at least, give him a comment every other day about how he helped create all this shit and how what you're advocating right now, Alex Jones, is what you were against for the past 25 fucking years. And those of us that have seen you go from, fucking liberty, give me death, 1776 will commence again. Go from that to what you are now is a fucking disgrace. But I always thought you were a shameless idiot. And by the way, I think this is the end, the absolute end of MAGA. Okay? Because now it's not about MAGA, it's about MEGA. Okay? Make Israel great again. And now everybody's starting to recognize that at this point. And I don't know, is everybody okay with this? All right, Israel not only dictating our foreign policy, but just like what Alex Jones says, they're trying to dictate our domestic policy. And look, I'll even show another clip of Alex because he goes into a little further detail into this. All right, put the PC shot on. Listen to a little bit of this. I'm not going to play it all.
President Trump's coming to the defense of Mark Levin today on Truth Social is extremely troubling because of what he says there.
Really?
First off, he implies that it's these evil, terrible people that aren't MAGA that are attacking him and that Trump's coming to his aid. Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, and others have been all over the conservative circuit, CPAC, their own shows, TPUSA, saying Tucker Carlson is non-MAGA, Alex Jones is non-MAGA, and listing other people that are supposed to be excommunicated. Well, let's just get one thing straight here. I was around a lot longer than Trump politically, and I've never been MAGA. I'm 1776. I've supported the aims of Make America Great Again so far, but now those definitions are changing. But
they changed in the 24 election, you idiot. All right? I don't know why not even this fucking disgusting peanut head looking fuck could read the writing on the wall in 24. I mean, everything I predicted in 24 is coming to pass. And this guy's going to act like he didn't know as well? Bullshit.
What Trump's really doing here is attacking his critics. He doesn't want to say, don't attack me in the Iran war. He wants to say, leave Mark Levin alone. He's the litmus test. when he's calling for censorship and all the rest of it of people like Tucker Carlson and myself, or I will say that you're not part of our movement. Well, Trump, you don't have to worry about that. People are already very upset with you and already basically understanding that your legacy is being destroyed by you breaking your promise about this war and a lot of the other things you've done, like no real prosecutions of the deep state. So if you want to continue to self-inflict wounds on your own name and own political dynasty, I'm sad about that, but that's your life. You can do it.
Is that all you got to say, Alex? You helped get this fucker into power twice, all right? I mean, you should have stronger convictions in this. I mean, at least that's what you portrayed for 25 years, you bald piece of shit. 17-6 will commence again. All that bullshit. What is it? For naught. Trying to keep the grift alive like that fat walrus-looking idiot fucking quartering and like that fucking old prostate-infected idiot cat turd. You're no better than those grifters, all right? You're no better than those grifters. So don't try to get on your fucking soapbox, Alex, and pretend that you know anything. You are purposely, in my opinion, being deceitful. Because if anybody should have seen this coming, it should have been you. You either sat on your fucking thumb, kept your mouth shut because the grift was good. And look at you. You look just like Pete Rose after being caught for gambling on baseball. Some shameless, snivelous idiot, sniveling little moron. And let me tell you something, man. I would smoke this guy in a debate. I'd smoke anybody in a debate. Because these people are grifters. I speak from conviction. I speak from belief. I'm not out here trying to maximize the value of whatever I'm trying to say. I want to spark synapses, for Christ's sake. I want to hope to inspire new leadership. I want to hope to inspire new ideas, for fuck's sake. I don't want this country going down the toilet like it has. But we need some leaders, damn it, and we don't have them. We don't have them in this country. I'm speaking to you if you have any fucking care about the country. If you have any appreciation for your freedom, for your opportunities, I implore you to please run for something. Please run for something. Anyway, I'm going to get the hell out of here, all right? I get fucking pissed off every time I do this fucking show because I'm mostly talking to a bunch of tards that I hope that when the damn draft comes around, these are the first people on the first wave of Operation Meat Shield, all right? Because that's the only way we're going to fucking go and get rid of all these mindless idiots like the little girls that we just saw that were trying to plan to kill their classmate to resurrect the fucking Sandy Hook shooter. This is the kind of population that we're dealing with in this country, and that's why I said, and you could quote me on this, the only way we save this country is if we bring in people that care about the fucking country. Bring in people that care about civility. Bring in people that care about the Constitution. Because these assholes in America, the majority of them, don't give a flying shit. And they just think that it's just supposed to be given to them. They just think that freedom, the Constitution, safety, civility, they think that it's just supposed to be given to them without any participation from them. All right? Without any participation from them. Hey, assholes, you people don't even want to go to work. All right? That's why I called it. I'm going to rub it in your face again because I see people, oh, you're a Democrat. I'm a fucking rational thinker, asshole. I want to keep the country going. I don't want you losers who don't participate in the process of productivity or the process of conducting yourself as a person that's living in a country that is made by the people for the people. You aren't doing any of this. None of you people are. All you are is just taking, and taking. And at some point, something's got to give. And we're seeing it right now, if you want my personal opinion. And by the way, take a look at this. I just want to rub it in your faces. Trump team wants to make it easier for migrants to work on farms. I told you this was going to happen in 24. And I told you ICE was not meant to fucking deport immigrants. All right, ICE was meant to keep your ass and my ass in line in a totalitarian capacity. You all voted this in. All right? So hey, Trump, this is the only thing I agree with him on. All right? Bring in more people that are going to care about this fucking country, that are going to work in this country, that are going to pay taxes in this country. All right? So this is what I agree with Trump on. All right? All right, because none of you fucking American shitheads are working. All right? And what I mean, I'm not talking about you people that are working. I'm talking about the people, the 60+% of America that don't do a goddamn thing but collect a check or multiple checks from the government. I'm not fucking joking. I mean, how do you think that people are able to live out here? All right? They're either collecting a check because they have impoverished situations. You know, they're getting free housing. They're getting EBT. You know, they're getting this. They're getting that. They're getting, look, I love our military. I love our military. One thing that the social media influencer named Caleb Hammer opened my eyes to is that every time, for all those that don't know who Caleb Hammer is, he's this tax consultant who's turned social media star reviewing everybody's finances and that sort of thing. And he says every time that he has a veteran, and he goes over their finances, 100% of the time they're on VA assistance. You know, for something medical. And every time he looks at him, he's like, "What's wrong with you? You look okay? Oh, you know, my knee or my leg or something like that." I mean, he didn't really say that that's not the right thing to do, but I mean, does everybody that comes across this guy and he audits their finances, they're all on disability? All of them? All of them? So I'm not saying that people that are injured shouldn't get disability. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, there's a lot of people that I've seen on this content of Caleb Hammer that these people are fine. They got gold chains. They're perfectly fine. Yet they got 40-50% in military disability. So I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that counts as an entitlement. Okay, welfare counts as an entitlement. Corporate welfare, that's an entitlement. All right? I mean, the only people that aren't collecting entitlements are true American working citizens. All right, that are actually working for a living, that are busting their ass to try to achieve what it is that they want, achieve what it is that they need in life. So let me tell you something right now, man. We have to revamp our whole entire system. I wasn't against Doge, okay? But Doge was never about going in and cutting to try to get less spending. It was about aggregating data. And by the way, I'm gonna end it here, but I just want to put this as a point of emphasis. Back when Doge was happening early last year, I said that this fucking Elon Musk was hiring a bunch of kids. He was hiring a bunch of kids, and he was doing so because he was going to throw them under the bus. All right? They were the ones that were going to take the heat on all the illegal activity they conducted by aggregating data for Elon Musk, because that's what it was about. If you don't believe that, you're an idiot. All right? These kids were there not to cut anything. They were aggregating data and feeding it to the goddamn website or the AI fucking grok or whatever the fuck they're doing. And by the way, maybe this is where this is where Hegseth got the idea of using Signal to, disseminate fucking classified material from these brats. Look at these brats here. Look at this kid. This kid was in charge of Doge over here, one of the Doge departments.
Talked about some of your communications with Mr. Davis.
Look at this shit.
Including, in the context of you emailing yourself, I think you were saying, and then using that email on Signal to send to Mr. Davis. Do you remember talking about that with Mr. Robinson earlier?
I do.
Okay. Walk me through that process exactly.
There was a weekly scorecard, as it was called, where we reported on savings across each agency. It was black text in an Excel spreadsheet file. That was downloaded. Steve preferred that to be sent over Signal.
So, your social security information, all your medical records, all the fucking data that these guys aggregated, they put it on Signal, and who the fuck knows who has it? Who the fuck knows? And now these kids are being depositioned, and they're putting themselves in compromising situations with their fucking deposition testimony, all right? And they're going to be prosecuted, just like I said was going to happen during the time Doge was being implemented. Go back in the archive in the True Capitalist Radio Show episodes. I told you so. Yet another prognostication, all right? So you young people, be wary when you've got older people telling you to do things that probably could get you in trouble, because that's what older people do, okay? They manipulate young people in order to do something for them, in order for them to evade the trouble, all right? So always think twice. Don't ever get awestruck. Like, oh my God, it's fucking Elon Musk. He's telling me to do this. He's telling me to... Who gives a shit? All right? And Haywood, the people that are the real Americans working without benefits are a bunch of Haywoods. Think about that. Well, I do agree with that. Haywood is working his ass off. I'll tell you that. But anyway, that concludes the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. I meant to go right after that totally useless news segment, but, you know, you fucking guys. You know, and this fucking idiot in, what is this, D-Live chat? Are you sure Doge didn't cut anything? No, they didn't. They cut the services that we fucking needed, like air traffic control, and I don't know, the people that control the forests, you know, the fucking park rangers and all the shit that we depended on. Yeah, they cut all that shit. But, I mean, we just signed a $1.7 trillion fucking bill to keep the goddamn government open until, what is it, June? All right? And then in June, we're going to have to do all this shit again. Where the fuck did we cut, you fucking loser? Oh, that's right. You can't tell me because he didn't cut shit, you stupid shithead. Fucking assholes, dude. I'm telling you, this is why America is being flushed down the toilet. And there's no turning back. I mean, these people, like this idiot, what's your fucking name, Wolf what? Like fucking Wolf 336, all right? These people are fucking idiots, and he's never going to get any more. He's never going to get smart. He's never going to get any smart. He's just some fucking lunatic who thinks that, you know, Trump is such a fucking god that if he took a shit, he'd put it on a cone and lick it. All right? Jesus Christ. Anyway, I want to say cheers to everybody out there who is listening. All right? Cheers to the Rumble chat. Appreciate all the Rumble rants. Cheers to the Kick chat. See you guys there. Cheers to the folks over there at Twitter. Cheers to the folks at YouTube. Cheers to the folks at D-Live. Cheers to the folks at Trovo and Odyssey. All right? By the way, I do another show tomorrow called The Ghost Show, which is a lot different than this, okay? A lot different than this. It's a tomfoolery show, pretty much comedy, you know, tomfoolery, radio graffiti, all that good stuff. Wherever you're watching me from, the best place to watch would probably be Rumble or Kick, but Rumble preferably, because we got a pretty good community in Rumble, and I want to say cheers to everybody out there in Rumble. All right, man? All right, folks. Anyway, I will be doing these shows on True Capitalist Radio regularly on Mondays, 5 p.m. to 5:30-ish p.m. Central Standard United States, Texas time. So if you appreciate the content and want to be chilling here with us on a live show, that's when I'll be doing it. All right? And, of course, The Ghost Show is on every Tuesday and Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, preferably on Rumble. All right? So, anyway, until next time, I appreciate you all for listening, and I hope that I sparked synapses in some of you people. And, hey, cheers to BN King, who just hooked it up with the first video for, by the way, it's going to be a St. Patty's Day show tomorrow. St. Patrick's Day show. So it's going to be a good one, man. All right. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in with me. I will be back next Monday on True Capitalist Radio, tomorrow on The Ghost Show. Until next time, I'm out of here.